My name is Brian Bennett, the District Membership Chair for District 7080. This is the second of our webinars that we're proud to present to the district. And tonight, it's our pleasure to have Tracey Vavrek, who's going to be our keynote speaker. The way the meeting is going to be organized tonight is Tracey's going to speak for about 20 minutes, after which we're going to go into 4 different breakout rooms where there'll be a different topic in each breakout room. And there's a facilitator in each room who will be taking some notes. And then we'll come back together as a big group and we'll have the facilitators report on the conversations that went on in those rooms. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay. I'm going to start tonight with a video. Please, Darren, if you could throw the video on.
As Rotary, we often ask ourselves, how do we grow, personally, professionally, and organizationally? The answer is simple. To grow Rotary, we need more Rotary clubs. Let's use Anytown as an example. Anytown is a city of 100,000 people and home to one proud Rotary club. But there are hundreds of other people of action, just like us, who are uniquely qualified to become Rotary members. They share the same drive and represent the values and fundamentals of a Rotary member. So why aren't they members? Well, the current club meets on Monday. There are leaders in Anytown who can't meet on a Monday. By excluding this segment, the potential members in Anytown has shrunk. Now consider, what if the meeting is at noon on Monday? There are people who can meet on Monday, but can't meet at noon. So now we have a smaller audience for Rotary in Anytown. Of the remaining group, some aren't interested in a club with a sit-down lunch and speakers. They are passionate about service, but aren't interested in a traditional club experience. And that is okay. The Rotary Club of Anytown isn't doing anything wrong. It just doesn't appeal to particular segments of the community. And if we're going to thrive for years to come, we must adapt and embrace change. In Anytown, we have an opportunity to expand because potential members are everywhere. More than half of the eligible people are prospective Rotary members, waiting to make a bigger impact in their community. But what Rotary club exists for them? If Anytown creates new clubs at new times and new places, the hidden potential for Rotary will be revealed. As people of action, we must broaden our reach and provide opportunities to all leaders in the community. Together, all of us can grow Rotary.
Thank you, Darren. Now it's my pleasure to turn the microphone, so to speak, over to past District Governor Brian Carmichael.
And it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this evening, Tracey Vavrek, who is joined Rotary in 2006. And she is currently an active member of the Grand Prairie Rotary Club. And she served as district governor in District 5370 in 2019 and 20. And you're saying to yourself, where's District 5370? Well, it's primarily clubs located in Northern Alberta, but there are a smattering of clubs in BC, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Saskatchewan. So she's quite a bit of traveling she had to do as a district governor. She truly practices what she preaches and promotes community involvement, volunteerism, and service above self. And it was one particular project that she was involved in that really impacted her, and that was delivering buses and emergency vehicles and firefighting equipment to Mexico, which, as she said, was a true life-changing experience. She's a very active volunteer and sits on various boards and committees and associations working to build healthy and resilient communities. But she's here this evening as a representative from Zone 28, and as part of what is something new this year called Innovative Club Advocate. And there are 3 of them that sit on this committee and work with districts such as ourselves in promoting innovative club thinking. So with no further ado, I'll turn it over to Tracey, who will welcome Tracey, and the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for the very, very kind introduction. And it is so beautiful to see so many wonderful friends on the screen tonight. There are some faces I've met prior and faces that I haven't met, but I do look forward to meeting. I really am honored with this opportunity to connect with you this evening and to also be able to share with all of you a little bit more around some of the work that we've been doing on our Innovative Club advocate work. And the video was a perfect start, absolutely perfect start about looking at the future and of Rotary. So as we move into tonight's presentation, I first want to recognize that I am coming to you tonight from my home in Grand Prairie, Alberta, which I am situated on Treaty 8 territory, which is the traditional lands of the Métis, the Kelly Lake Métis Settlement Society, and the Beaver First Nation. I am very committed to learning the history of the lands that I live on and how I can support the people who have opened these lands and who I share these lands with today. So a huge thank you again to your district, to membership chair Brian and Scott and all the other team members for this very kind invitation. As we go forward this evening is about you as a district, all of you, and how we can all work collectively together and look at transforming Rotary, transforming the Rotary world so that we all strive and that we ensure that we look at membership to ensure that it's meaningful for all. And look at how powerful we can be by working strongly together and continuing to work strongly together. You know, I can't deny that COVID-19 has changed every part of our Rotary world. It's changed our personal world and it's changed our Rotary world. Well, my heart is extremely grateful for all of the amazing stories that we continue to hear on how our Rotarians are reaching out and they're supporting each other, but also how supporting our communities, the communities that each of us, you and I, call home. We know our Rotarians are leading with kindness, they're leading with care, and they're leading to make a difference for others. You will hear from me numerous times this evening that Rotarians are needed more than ever at this time. So I ask you to hold on to that. And as every one of us explores what life is about today, I share with you the importance of service and the importance of Rotarians and the importance of Rotarians as we continue to go forward and rebuild our communities and go through rebuilding and recovering following COVID. But I do share with you there's one area that COVID hasn't changed. COVID hasn't changed our values of who we are, our values of what Rotary was built on. So tonight, as we go through the presentation, I ask you to hold on to that piece as well. And as Brian mentioned earlier, we're going to have a presentation and then we'll go through and go into our breakout rooms. And then we do want to do some sharing afterwards. I'm really excited to hear from you. So as we look at the current pandemic, we know it's provided an opportunity for each of us to explore how we can create a stronger sense of social cohesion. As we know, as we're doing this evening, we're doing things differently. Tonight, we're meeting online. We know all of our clubs are currently meeting online, and we're connecting. We're building stronger bonds, and we're looking at our journey that we're traveling through, and we're doing it together online in a different manner. As I've been traveling throughout the Rotary world, I continue to hear many questions from your fellow Rotarians in clubs from the Yukon, Northwest Territories, throughout the US, Canada, and beyond. And the questions are, following COVID, will we meet regularly? Will we be looking at having a meal at our meetings? Or would we consider looking at maybe only meeting once a month for a meal and maybe meeting at other times throughout the month to do service? Questions that are coming up as well include, will we return to an old norm? Or are we interested in exploring stepping out of the ways we've always done it in the past? In addition, I'm hearing other questions as well. How do we continue to focus on service projects? How do we continue to care for our local community and ensure that our local citizens that are in need of food, employment, and other areas have what they need and help to move through COVID? These are good questions that are being asked. These are questions that are built on the base of what Rotary's been built on, what all of us have continued to do. we're all asking, what is Rotary going to look like? Well, as I've said prior, we are meeting online like we are tonight, and it's working. The connecting is here. I have had the opportunity to make friends and meet people online like no other. And each of you I know are doing the same. The other piece is when we're meeting online as we are right now, costs are less. We're not paying for meals right now. So when you think about that opportunity being a little more, little larger opportunities for people that haven't been able to maybe meet because they were busy, meet because maybe the cost of the meal limited them, now we're opening up for opportunities. We have heard from Rotary International for years that membership has stalled at 1.2 million people. But we know that Rotary was brought in changes, and those changes are as a result of you and I. Those changes are as a result of us saying, we'd like to have more flexibility. We'd like to look at ways that we can be more flexible in being Rotarians and opening up opportunity for Rotarians. One, for example, classification. The requirement of minimal number of classifications in a club is gone. As well, the requirement to meet weekly is gone. Rotary International says, let's be flexible. Let's look at what we can do. We don't need to meet for a meeting weekly, but we'd love for you to come together twice a month. And in that twice a month, one for a meeting, and then service a minimum of once a month and maybe more opportunities. Rotary has done this for us because we've asked for it. So as we continue to prepare to move forward and look at our planning post-COVID, let's be reminded that reshaping of Rotary is happening right now. It is happening at our fingertips, and we are the ones that are moving forward with it. And we have great opportunities. But we must pay attention, and we must plan for the future. And one of the things that I have heard from others is that, well, we're going to go back to the norm. Well, I question that. Let's not wait to go back to a norm. Let's not wait to go back to the way we've always done it. This is our time to explore creative ways and innovative ways that we can transform and continue to do what we started with Rotary 150 years ago, to connect and service. Let's continue to look at ways that we can support our communities, even though we may not be meeting face-to-face for a period of time, and even though we know how we are serving our communities today is changing. Clubs and members are doing various things to support communities today. I have heard of unbelievable stories, as I mentioned at the onset, from helping to deliver supports to seniors, ensuring that seniors have the opportunities to have their yards and their driveways shoveled. I live in the north. I share that one coming out of the north where we have lots of snow. I've also heard about deliveries, foods being picked up and delivered to those in need. I've also heard about online schooling that's happening. Rotarians are investing their time to help young people as they continue to face their schooling online. We're also seeing that Rotary clubs are banding together and members are banding together to purchase gift cards or to give gift cards to our grocery store employees or our medical responding teams, because these are the ones that are putting their lives at risk for us today. They're providing the services to us so we can continue to move through COVID. Also, we're seeing immense amount of online food line donation drives. Rotarians are also stepping up for to support social agencies who are taxed right now to the highest. We are seeing those agencies having an increased amount of demands for hot meals, supportive youth, recognizing that there are so many other needs that our social agencies are dealing with right now, and Rotarians are stepping up. I've heard of some Rotarians that are also doing accounting and bookkeeping and doing some admin support from their homes in support of these agencies. So I'm just sharing with you some small little tidbits, but the list goes on and on and on. Some of the lists regarding international work is around groups banding together and they're hosting sewing gatherings, and they're sewing virtually online through Zoom, and they're making masks and supplies for groups like Days for Girls. So imagine what we can do when we change and look and explore. And when we take an idea and we grab it, a new idea and a new opportunity. I also want to share with you that I've seen a young Rotaract group that band together and said, you know what, we may be in isolation, but with all these requirements, we can still ensure our community is healthy and our community has everything they need and is clean. So they did an online food bank drive. At the same time, they were also banning out and engaging volunteers to do a community cleanup. These are young people saying this is important to me. That's part of the magic. They are saying this is important to me. So hang on to that one too. I don't want you to lose that one. Last night, I was in a conversation with another district governor, and what they were explaining to me that they are doing is they've partnered with the health authorities, and they're looking at ways that they can utilize the Rotarians to be volunteers to help with vaccination clinics and help with drive-throughs and et cetera, to ensure that whatever is needed as the vaccinations process starts and moves forward, that they are there as Rotarians to support them. Imagine we could do that. What a great opportunity for us to serve our communities by looking at ways we can partner with our health authorities to do so. So I encourage each of you to watch, to look, to listen, and do an inventory. Grab onto ideas, share ideas, and don't stop. Continue to explore and listen. When I said earlier about our young people, listening to them, they took initiative to do this on their own. They are Rotarians. We've now created a Rotaract club for them. They became Rotarians as a result of their passion. It was the listening that helped us to do so. But we also know we have some clubs and some members that are not with us right now. They may not be attending meetings, or they may not be looking at what they can do for service. We cannot lose sight of them. It is really tremendously important that we reach out and we do a little knock on their Zoom door, or we do a little phone call to them and say, we need you. How are you? Are you okay? Are you okay? We need you. There's lots that needs to be done, and you've always been an important Rotarian. Because we do know there are some Rotarians that are a bit cautious on coming on Zoom. So this is our time to show them it's a safe place. It's a wonderful place to connect. Let's share a coffee or a glass of wine or a beer or a visit or some service together. We need this. They need this. And as we go forward and continue to look at our community, we know that Rotary has built a strong bond and connection with every community that you and I are part of. Through Rotary and our service commitments, we've created bonds that are stronger than anything else. And when people feel that they belong in a community, we see mental health and physical health is stronger. We also know when people feel connected and there's a strong bond, that crime rates drop. We also know that when people belong and they feel connected, that we have stronger employees and so much more. I know this because this is part of the study that I do in my profession with Community Foundations of Canada. We also know as well that we build stronger friendships and alliances when we volunteer together and we work together. When someone volunteers, their sense of belonging increases immensely. And you and I know that service enhances our lives in every part of our world. What this isn't new to us. You and I know that. I know the fulfillment, you know the fulfillment. But what's new is we're experiencing it through COVID. What's new is that we're doing it with online platforms. And what's new is that we're doing it in a different manner. This is our time of transformation. This is our time to look at the next step and where we go. So how do we use our time online effectively? Let's do it to get to know each other. Let's do it to create. Let's do it to explore. And I encourage also as well is to create that sense of belonging online together. Play a game together, have a visit, have a coffee chat, whatever it might be, and invite others. Invite those friends that are in the community right now or family and family that are saying, you know what, it's this pandemic, what can I do to help our community? I share with you, most people desire to give back. Most people desire to help, to be part of something that's of success and rewarding and giving back to community. So start to invite them to your online meetings and ask them to join you to hear about what's going on. Ask them to hear about a potential speaker that may be of interest. Ask them to hear and learn about a possible project that you can all do together. I've given you tons of examples already, and as we know, the Rotary world is filled with many examples of service and times we can come together. So invite them. Don't close that door. Open the door, welcome people in, and when you look at the video we saw earlier around any town, let's not allow for those boxes to close. Let's open those boxes. Let's find out what is important to people, what is important to them. And I share with you that I had the most amazing opportunity last year to do 2 unique, very unique online inductions. One was to charter the Rotaract Club that I mentioned earlier. This Rotaract Club is in a community called Peace River. Now, for those of you that know Alberta, where I am in Grand Prairie, they're about 2.5 hours northeast of where I am. Very remote, a community that struggled. And it was the young people of the community that says, this is important to me. I want this and I want to make this happen for our community. So when you think about Rotaract, we know the importance of our young people and the leadership they offer. Well, I had the opportunity to welcome these beautiful Rotaractors to Rotary, all because of COVID. In addition, we also chartered an online passport club that is built of members from throughout our district. So anyone throughout the district can be part of it. It has over 50% of the members are under the age of 30, and majority of those members are Rotarians, or pardon me, we're past Rotarians. So they welcomed past Rotarians, they opened up and they invited them and said, come and join us, we'd love to have you and come back to Rotary. We know you care, we know you desire to continue to be part of community, and we know that the values of Rotary are important to you. How they get together to do service, they're doing it online, and when allowed, they're going to tour from community to community to community throughout our district. It's a very unique approach to service, and they're very excited to do so. People want to connect, and they want to connect at a higher need to do more for community, and Rotary is that platform. Rotary is trusted. Our brand has been trusted for over 115 years, and we are valued. We are built on caring, passionate people who desire to serve. And our communities and organizations trust us because when we say we were going to do something, we deliver on our promises. So when we say we're going to support our seniors, or help at our food banks, or help with immunization, they trust we will do so. We are also sought out and recognized for our commitment to the 4-way test. Our reshaping has been happening for a period of time, and we are now seeing clubs move into that action of reshaping. But during our reshaping, we've reshaped our systems, but we are not reshaping our values. We will continue to hold on and honor our history and the founders of Rotary and of each club. And I am proud to be a Rotarian, and I encourage each of you to share your pride of our history and the work we do with your friends, your family, and invite them to be part of it. Don't put any barriers down. Open up and look at the space that you create and invite them to be part of this great world. And again, Rotarians are needed more than ever. We are needed more than ever right now and are going to be needed so much more as we go through rebuilding and also recovery through COVID. But one saying that I'm not hearing as frequently is, we've always done it this way. That's starting to get smaller. Less talk about doing the way we've always done it. Instead, we're exploring new ideas as we are tonight. We're looking at opportunities. And we've shifted from the traditional face-to-face, from the meals. We've shifted to as we are looking and exploring today. But one concern I have had with many people is that with losing their jobs and their employment changes, that we would see members leaving Rotary due to finances. This isn't happening. People aren't leaving due to finances. Some clubs are actually seeing higher attendance. We're also, as I mentioned with the new club that was established, seeing past members are coming back. They are being invited and they're coming back because they're missing their Rotary family. And without the meal costs, the dues are working for some that are dealing with COVID and beyond. So consider that and ask who is out there that you haven't seen for a while or has left your club. Members are feeling valued and are wanting innovative ways to serve and maintain a strong sense of belonging with their fellow Rotarians and their Rotary family. So now is the time to lean in and learn more about the interests of others within your clubs and also your community. And as I mentioned earlier, Rotary has provided the way for us to do so and to make the change. So it is time to be bold. Bold discussions are key. We can be flexible, we can be nimble, and we can be responsive to our clients' needs. Anyone in business understands what it means to focus on clients. Clients are our members. My year of traveling as district governor, I referred to all the clubs and all of our members as our clients. We are here to serve our clients. So now it's time to explore and look at what is working and what can be changed. Can we change our meeting structure? Let's look at what our opportunities are. Do we continue to sing the national anthem? Do we continue to have an invocation? Maybe not, maybe so. But it is up to the clubs to determine that, and it is up to the members to explore that. So engage in club discussions. Discuss inclusion. Are we welcoming to all? Are family members, including children, included in activities, service, and do they feel welcome? Are clubs reaching out to those that are missing to let them know their family misses them, their Rotary family? Again, reach out to those past members, invite them. Let them know they are missed. Let them know that it's time for them to come back. You will then be able to dive into and ask them why they left. And I share with you that most leave due to culture and cost. And culture is a subject we all need to talk about. Culture, when we look at it, look at ways to continue to focus on retention, engagement, and new members. Culture can either enhance those 3 areas or they can build barriers. So culture is a big piece for all of us. Welcoming, inclusive, and looking at opportunities and continuing to focus on our clients. And when we talk about our clients and satisfaction, have you asked them, are they satisfied? Have you used the RI health check to see how your club is doing? Are you listening to your people? Are you exploring how young professionals are interested in community and what's important to them? And have you explored with them that a Rotary Club can be created to help them do what they desire to do? Have you asked them why they haven't joined Rotary? Is it because of time, cost? Is it because of service? They haven't found the service area they're interested in. So I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to have these conversations, and they're bold conversations. Don't try and put a square peg in a round hole, as my grandfather used to say. Find out what's important to people and see if you can create that valued experience that works for them. Be bold and unleash creativity. Be bold and explore what will work for others. So as we look at going forward, we have many opportunities. There are various models, and now it's time to go into action to explore what it is that will work for you, for others, and for those other individuals that are your neighbors and friends, colleagues, co-workers, etc. This chart shows various options, and it's available right on the RI website. But I share with you, let's look at ways that we can reach into other parts of the community. So have you explored looking at a club that's focused very much on a specific area, like environment? or diversity and inclusion? Have you explored reaching out to a group of young leaders who have said, we desire to ensure that youth have the opportunity to be empowered? Maybe you can create a cause club or a specific focused area club in those areas and invite them to be part of that. Are there interest groups or places of businesses that a club can be established? Again, those classification requirements are gone. You considered approaching your local municipal, sorry, one too fast there. Go back to it so you can see it. And considered approaching going to your local municipality or to a school, a senior center, or a local MILF to explore what opportunities there are to create a club. I was meeting with a group in Alaska, and they were looking at the military and all the different military individuals and how they could create a club at the military that was based on the military and at the detachments. So there's opportunities. And so when we start to explore, don't be held by a classification. Look at causes, look at opportunities. Recently, we had a new club that was established that's called the Rotary Club of New Work for Empowering Women. And it's the first club in the world that's focused on empowering women. This is a great example of people reaching out and saying, this is our passion and this is what we desire to do. We also know our young leaders have had their lives turned upside down. And we've heard from numerous Rotaractors, they desire to teach and mentor, and they're also looking for opportunities to work together and increase their service impact. Well, now is our time to not forget them and to serve side by side by our Rotaractors. And we know that 5% of Rotaractors become Rotarian. So now is the time to change this. Let's invite them and show them how important they are. Most times we are also seeing that our youth alumni, like our youth exchange, our RILA, all of our youth programs, they become scattered throughout our district and out through our zones. So how about exploring ways that we can reach those young alumni members, as they've all become young professionals now, and to explore ways to connect them. Maybe it's an online passport club. Let's reach out to them and let them know how important they are. And yes, I share with you, when you involve and invite a young leader to the table and they find a cause or a focus that's important to them, hang on. I promise you, they're going to be busy and they're going to be moving fast. So, and we all know that we have been very fortunate and honored that the Rotary International has now brought in our avenue of service of environment. So our opportunities are endless. So imagine what we can do now around supporting the environment and ways that we can look at to engage our leaders from all levels, of our young leaders to every age and every environment, or every aspect of environments through our world, to help to come together to contribute to stewardships and to maintaining the environment in our local communities, national and internationally. Imagine creating a club that's environmentally focused. And we actually have a session next Tuesday, that's focused specifically on creating a cause-based club that could be an environmental club. So we are working side by side. We are working as a team to move forward, to grow and ensure that Rotary is diverse, that it's transformed, and that we have the opportunities for individuals to make a difference through Rotary. And you can lead in this change. I say to you, please lead, please take action. Succession is key, succession of going forward. And tonight we're connecting to explore transformation. And it is very important for you and I, as districts and clubs, to continue to have a strong succession plan, to keep talking and continue to make change. And it does not stop with each of us tonight. We know that the trends have identified that we have had a membership challenge, but that's not my focus. My focus is on shifting the dial to change. Let's make change and let's go forward. We must take action, and we cannot always do what we've always done. Why would we do this? Well, again, because the world needs Rotary. The world needs you and I. The world needs my granddaughter. and it needs your grandchildren and your family as well. So let's continue to work hard together and focus on securing the future of Rotary. And we know our communities will be thankful. There are people in the world that you will never meet, that you have touched as a result of your commitment to rebuild and to continue to refocus on building communities through COVID and much beyond. We need each other, so let's do this. So as we go forward, let's continue to share in kindness and care for ourselves and each other as we travel this journey. Our service is way more important today than ever before. We also will have self-fulfillment, connections, fellowship, and impact. So again, if you see a club member or a club that's sitting on the sideline, or that friend or family member, engage them, call them in, let them know how important they are and how important Rotary needs them. So I went through a lot quickly and I went a little longer than I intended, but I started talking and I always add a little extra. So I'm gonna now pass it over here to Darren. Darren, I've shared a lot of good resources with everyone. I want to ensure we don't stay in status quo. Let's break the status quo. So if you can now lead us to move us into our 4 breakout rooms, and we're going to have Scott, Andrew, Ed, and Carol that are going to lead us in our breakout rooms. And when we move into the breakout rooms, I ask everyone to talk about the question that you're assigned in your breakout room. You'll be assigned a specific one, and that's for a reason, to help to explore the action and the steps we're going to take to transform Rotary. So Darren, over to you.
All right. Everybody's going to end up in a room.
And for 20 minutes. But do we have everyone back now, Darren?
They're coming in still. We still got about 10 more.
Okay, perfect.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh, wonderful. Good to hear that, Carol. Well, as soon as we're ready.
We're all here.
Perfect. Well, let's go to Scott first. Scott, I believe you're room number 1.
I was.
And so share with us your question and a short summary of the outcomes of your discussion.
Sure. So we had a great group and we were tasked with looking at how do we use new club models as opportunities. So we reviewed I gave a quick review of the various types of clubs, and different members were able to share some of their experiences. Just a few overall themes though that came up. A lot of us agreed with, and this isn't specifically about the clubs, but we talked about Zoom really being important and that we want to keep Zoom alive. One of the clubs is going to install ceiling cameras and keep the Zoom format for the benefits of that going forward. We talked about satellite clubs as being a potential opportunity, as well as a corporate membership as an option. Again, we weren't focused completely on club models. We had kind of a lively discussion, and I just took what everyone said. There was a really interesting comment though, and we weren't aware, or I wasn't able to share with anyone, a specific cause-based club that we were aware of. I don't believe there's one in the district, but we talked about whether or not there could be a cause-based satellite club. One of the members happens to work with folks living with mental health and addiction, and thought that that might be a great way to attract individuals that would have a passion for improving the lives of people living in this distressing area. So that was some of our suggestions.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. Great discussion. I know when I popped in, there was some really tremendous discussion that was really deep and really valuable. And the idea of a cause-based club as a satellite would be ideal. Very, very ideal. And you could engage members from throughout the district to be part of it. So a great opportunity. So let's move to room number 2, and that was Ed. Ed, you were engaging young people, I believe.
Right, exactly. How do we engage Rotaractors and young professionals in our club? So the first thing that was brought up is exactly as Scott mentioned, was keeping Zoom meetings going post-COVID. And because of the time constraints that younger people have these days, and that could be a very effective way of keeping the membership and attendance numbers up there, and a way for people, and even for older Rotarians, to zoom in from the cottage during the summer or whatever. So talked about the meal aspect, and how maybe having a meal is not as important for younger folks these days. So that might tie in with the Zoom aspect of a meeting. Obviously, to keep people engaged, young or old, we need to get them involved in different committees in the club, and then within the district if possible. And be sure to highlight the leadership and mentorship opportunities for younger people, because I think that's a very important thing that Rotary has to offer, especially to younger folks. We even heard Jennifer Jones the other day talk about how Rotary was instrumental in, or attending Rotary meetings was instrumental in improving her presentation skills, which has obviously blossomed over the years. So that 20 minutes went very quick.
Great job, Ed and team. Thank you so much. And again, how we can mentor and learn and support each other, and let go of any boundaries and just see what we can do for opportunities of engagement. Great stuff. Number 3. Now, I think Andrew, you were number 3, but I wasn't sure if number 3 or I was, when I went to the different rooms, I wasn't sure. So I'm just going to go, Andrew. Let's hear from you next. You there? There he is.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Yes.
I was supposed to be in room 4. So our question was, how do we re-engage people who have left Rotary? So we had a good discussion. We had a couple ideas going about there. One of the things a lot of clubs don't do well is exit interviews, finding out why a new Rotarian has left, whether it's after 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years. Public relations, how do we get out the message to the public about what Rotary does? Marketing, engaging past Rotarians, how do we go about that? And one of the presentations that I saw last night was from Michael Caruso about building a distribution list and using Club Runner or email distribution lists. So making sure that we scrub and keep our distribution lists up to date for our friends of Rotary, so that when we have a function or a social event or a fundraiser, we can get the message out, whether it's through distribution lists or through social media. We noted that depending on the demographic of who we're trying to attract, seniors have more time and money, so we should try and engage them more. There's some barriers there for younger people who don't have the time and money to become Rotarians, and I pointed out from your presentation, Tracey, that there are different types of clubs. Perhaps that person that doesn't fit in your club, instead of just letting them go, get in touch with other clubs and recommend them to another club, whether you want to start a passport club or a e-club or whatever it is, or talk to your district and say, hey, is there another club that could fit this potential person that would be a great Rotarian, but isn't a good fit for our club? So these are some of the ideas we're discussing, and we kind of ran out of time.
Well, I'm glad you ran out of time, Andrew. It's a great discussion, a really good discussion. And, again, the comment you made at the end there around don't let them go. Really, don't let them go, but don't try to fit them in, in a box that's not going to work for them. Find out what will work, and if you need to create it, create it. Great stuff. Okay, Carol, you had the last breakout room. Let's go to you, Carol.
Sure did, and we had a great group, and thank them so much for their patience, because I ended up accidentally removing myself from the group, so they carried on, which was great. So our question was, how do we manage, but we've always done it that way? And there was some really good conversation, and the very first comment, and I saw a lot of heads nodding, was, and Tracey, you mentioned it in your presentation, that COVID has actually created the opportunity for people to have to embrace change. And we are getting a little more accustomed to being flexible. And so I think that's going to just pave the way for people to be maybe more open to change down the road. The other comment that was made that I thought was really great was engaging and educating members is key. Somebody actually used the phrase sense making. If we could help people understand the why, they're typically more accepting of change. And sometimes you can do that by creating opportunities for members to be involved in a way they want. If they're happy, they're engaged, and they feel proud of the work that they do as a Rotarian, change will just happen. We talked a lot about mindset being a priority, really focusing on the goal and as opposed to the way you get there. And that sometimes just, results in change, making sure that we focus on the positive, because, it's sometimes easy to talk about what's wrong with an idea or what won't work with an idea. But if you can get people to focus on, the positive aspects of change, it can go a long way. And then lastly, building consensus. So, recognizing that within a lot of our clubs, we've got people who've been there with a lot of tenure, a lot of years of experience, and then some young people, and making sure that you openly listen and communicate, appreciating all sides and coming to a consensus is really going to be helpful in making sure people don't resist change.
Carol, great job. Really great job. You hit all, the key points around change management and helping to, work through the process. So congratulations, everyone. Wow. I have to share, when I floated from room to room, I was just in awe listening to everyone, your engagement, your ideas. And I'm very, very proud to be here. I'm proud of you and your work you put in tonight. So I am done for this evening. So I will pass this back over to Brian. But again, thank you so much for this opportunity and the investment to grow and develop and to move your districts and your clubs forward. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Tracey. Thank you, Carol, Scott, Ed, and Andrew as our facilitators. Thank you, Darren, who was pushing the buttons. And most important, thank you, Brian, too. But most importantly, thank everybody that came out tonight. I was popping in the various rooms too, and I agree with what Tracey was saying. There was tremendous ideas there, and let's not stop tonight. This webinar has been recorded tonight, and we will make it available to anybody that wants to use it. It could be the first part, Tracey's 20-minute speech could be a great topic at a Zoom meeting one of these days, I can assure you. So don't hesitate to reach out and we'll share that with you. I think that's pretty well what we've covered tonight. I do want to remind you that our third webinar of this year is coming up on March the 14th. Our guest speaker that night is Valerie Wafer. And she's going to be talking about diversity.
And that's the 24th.
Equity and inclusion. Yes, I was trying to remember the E word for a second there. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's going to be the topic of that one. So it's on Wednesday, March the 14th, correct, Brian?
Sure.
I thought it was the 24th.
Yeah, the
24th?
14th. The 14th is a Sunday.
Okay, it's the 24th.
24th.
Okay, well, Carol's one of the coordinators of it, so that's why she knows the date.
Okay, and the 24th is 24th is right.
It's a Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
It's on the district calendar. We haven't got the registration open yet, but I can assure you that Valerie is as passionate as Tracey is tonight. Right, Tracey?
She is. She's amazing. And I've heard her speak on the DEI. I am so honored for you that you have her coming. Absolutely honored to please pass the message out and ensure you have a great team there. Wow.
I'll throw a little extra on there. Valerie is actually the Rotary International Chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So we've really got somebody right at the very top who's coming to talk to us about this particular topic.
Yeah, and she's comes with it with a deep heart and passion, and really tremendous. Yes.
Well, thank you again, everybody. And anytime you need anything, any help, any questions you have about club models, membership types, so that our committee is always there to help you. Don't ever hesitate to invite us into one of your meetings just to be an observer, whatever you'd like. We're there for you. That's our role at the district. So again, thank you for coming in tonight, and everybody have a good night.
Thanks everybody. Nice to see you.
Wonderful
Thanks,
to meet
Tracy.
everyone. Thank
Thanks,
you for the
Tracy.
invitation. All the best. Okay.